Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're gonna cover a hot topic.
Yes, we are.
We're not talking about the new Warriors vampire character.
Yeah, we're not talking about the story either.
No, we're talking about the idea of more women being involved in the entertainment industry, female directors, female showrunners, female writers, and whether or not any criticism of these women is straight up misogyny or whether or not people have legit criticism.
No, we're talking about the fact that these people keep saying that everybody has a problem with female people leading stuff in Star Wars or female-led shows. And that is not the problem. And we're going to talk about that.
Okay, well, Geeky's all fired up about this.
I'm summing it up because you're like talking around it. I'm just going to say what it is.
I'm not talking around it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a man. I'm not allowed to address this.
Basically what's going on is because we had the Leslye Headland announcement about the Star Wars show, immediately and I already ranted about it, was that they were going to already preemptively make it out to be about misogyny and racism and man-baby trolls because men don't like women. But that's not what it's about. The issue... Women. You know what I mean? But women in charge. Because they're somehow, like, threatened by women in charge. Yet here sits Kneon.
I like women in charge.
Anyway, so...
you're in charge of me.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Not that you listen. But anyway, there's the issue. The issue is they keep spinning this narrative. And that's not what's going on. People don't have an issue with women directing or leading a show. They didn't have a problem with the fact that it would be a female-led show. The problem they had was that you're leading with a female-led show. It's just a new Star Wars show, and there's gonna be a female lead. People, you know, they're having problems, including women are having problems with it. Like when there's a new show for a dude it's being led by a dude, they don't say man-centered Star Wars film, you know, or show.
That would be kind of funny, though, wouldn't it?
You know, but I mean, they do say female-centric. They don't say male-centric. You know, it's kind of insulting, and it's obvious. It turns people off because they think, okay, here comes an agenda. Because every time you hear that, and there's a focus on feminism or a focus on, you know, women, strong female characters, it immediately turns into a smear fest on people who don't agree, including women or minorities in general who don't agree that you're supposed to be representing. If they speak out against it, they're told to shut up or to stepped over. It's like, shut up while we defend you, even though you didn't ask for us to defend you.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because, again, the problem most people have isn't necessarily the fact that there being women involved in entertainment. For God's sake, there have been women involved in entertainment for decades.
Nuh-uh, they just invented it in 2015.
It's people, male or female, who use it as an opportunity to turn it into a political thing, or they decide they're going to run at the mouth. Right.
It makes it about... it's not even about like valid criticisms. Any criticism you have, valid or otherwise, is automatically labeled as you're a misogynist because there's a female lead in this episode or show or whatever, or it's done by a woman. And that's a load of shit. You can have valid criticisms for things that have nothing to do with the fact that it's a woman.
So does anybody remember Highlights, the magazine for kids? Goofus and Gallant?
I vaguely remember.
Okay, so like Goofus would do things the wrong way, then Gallant would show you how to do things the right way. We're going to talk about the right way to do things. We're going to talk about Deborah Chow, who you don't hear enough about because she doesn't have the right opinion.
Here's the thing. They're making this big deal about Leslye Headland because Kathleen Kennedy snuck her in the back door. And you know, beyond the fact that she's a woman, there really is a legit issue here about the fact that, you know, with Disney being in lawsuits over Miramax and Harvey Weinstein, it probably was not a smart idea to hire someone who was his personal assistant. Whether it was a year or otherwise, the fact is, while he was out there doing shit, she was his personal assistant. It might not mean that she had anything to do with it, but, you know, I find it hard to believe he wouldn't know anything. That's what people mostly had a problem with. That and the fact that she immediately started off with, it's going to be a feminist show with martial arts and in an alternate or unexplored timeline. And I guess there's been comments that she's made that she wanted to, you know, make changes to the lore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a whole lot about this. You know, I personally have not been following it that closely, but you said a lot of people have been making comments. Yeah, about the agendas and about that there supposedly has been said that yes, there's an agenda. It's focusing on current events and real life event, you know, stuff like that. Oh, and then the fact that they were saying that allegedly that there was talk about changing some of the
aspects of the Force and the Jedi and Sith in general. Like, you know, I'm not understanding it. I haven't seen it anywhere. I'm just saying that's what I've been hearing. I don't know if that's true.
Well, they've been doing that, which is irritating in, you know, the sequel trilogy. We've got the Force Ghost can now use the Force in everyday life.
Right, so they're going to, she wants to continue that further. When asked what her favorite movie was, she said all of them.
Oh, boy. That's usually not a good sign. This... And then we talked the other day about how she just got a Leia tattoo before she went to Lucasfilm. And I'm like, this is kind of like, I like all the Star Wars movies that have spaceships in them.
Or have Star Wars in the name.
You know, I'm not saying she's not a fan, but it does send out some weird signals.
But beyond that, we're going to talk about what she did say that we know, which was white women need to step up their game, because she talks about women in power, like, you know, Kathleen Kennedy, not using it to help women and help people that are marginalized. Okay. Well, what about the fact that Deborah Chow is directing Obi-Wan, and we don't hear jack shit about that, but we hear about Leslye Headland, a white woman, going on about women and white women in Hollywood?
I'm going to put this out there, and this sort of lends credibility to this whole theory about there being a civil war at Lucasfilm, because I think Deborah Chow was Favreau and Filoni's hire. Yeah,
because she's talented. I'm not saying the other girl isn't, but the difference is you're not hearing about the other girl. You know, you're not hearing jack shit about Deborah Chow. Deborah Chow is directing Obi-Wan. Deborah Chow also said the following, which I'm going to read because I'm a woman.
Okay.
You know, you can read it.
No, I can't do a good woman voice.
But I know you say about me doing stuff that's women stuff because they won't listen to you if you do it because you're a dude.
Yeah, go ahead. How about it?
They asked her about what it's like to be she was supposed to be the first one of the first women to direct Star Wars, and she mentions that Bryce Dallas Howard is also. She said, "I want it to be about the work. I want to be a good director, not a good female director, not a good Asian director. But by the same token, obviously my career path and the representation, it's important, it's meaningful. I want to see more women directors, and I want to see more directors of color." Yeah, so, you know, I love this pick and choose your argument, because they're out there going about misogyny and all this shit and trying to already preemptively on the back burner. There's rumors that they're deliberately trying to start a smear campaign against people who don't like this choice when it comes to Leslye Headland. Meanwhile, you have Deborah Chow actually, you know, directing Obi-Wan, did episodes of The Mandalorian, is not only a woman, she is an Asian, you know, she's like half Asian, half Canadian. She is an Asian woman directing these episodes. Why don't we hear more about that? No, we hear about Leslye flippin' Headland.
Because Deborah Chow's just like, I want to make good shit, and Leslye Headland,
I want to make it feminist.
Is white women need to step up their game when she herself is a white woman.
Right, exactly. I'm so tired of these white women telling everybody else what they can and can't think, and I'm a white woman.
You're allowed to say that then. That's like you're allowed to use racial slurs against your own people because it's you saying it.
Well, it's all a load of shit.
I can't say it, but you
honestly,
can say
don't be a crappy person. You shouldn't say any kind of slurs but against anyone.
No.
I mean, in general. I mean, I won't put up with that kind of crap. I won't ever put up with people, you know, deliberately bullying others based on race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, etc. People will go out to make comments and point the finger and say we're, you know, outright Yahtzees and everything else, but we'll be the first ones in there. If someone's getting harassed for, you know, the color of their skin or for their gender or whatever, I'll be one of the first ones in there being like, oh, hell no. Back the flip up.
So now we see exactly how, again, this is the media, this is how the media works, and you see the difference between how Leslye Headland is being embraced, whereas Deborah Chow has already proven herself.
They're not talking about it.
They're not talking about it because she doesn't have the right opinion. She's like, I just want to roll my sleeves up and do the best damn job I can do. Meanwhile, we're promoting Leslye Headland's Star Wars series years out. Obi-Wan hasn't dropped yet. The Rogue One spinoff hasn't dropped yet. All this stuff is coming, and you're not hearing anything about. All you hear about is Leslye Headland.
Right, and well, even that was all questionable to begin with, because what we noticed, well, you noticed right off, was the fact that they were not, it was not the proper channels.
No.
It did not feel like Disney PR, which we would know. I mean, a lot of people, you know, took the story and didn't even bother mentioning that it came from us, but we actually worked in that area, so we kind of know what the hell we're talking about and what we're looking for, and Kneon immediately was like, this isn't typical, and then it turned out that apparently either KK or Headland herself started this whole, you know, preemptive release of the information to try to strong arm and get their own way, which they end up getting apparently.
Yeah.
For now.
For now. I mean, again, here's the thing. Disney, with them running out of money, they could at any point in time just pull the plug on anything. I'm just going to put that out there. If they want an easy out, just be like, oh, oopsie, sorry.
Well, no, they're already case building that they do that. They're against women and they're misogynistic, even though they're hiring Deborah Chow, and Deborah Chow is already on a project and has been.
Yeah.
And you don't hear jack about Deborah Chow, and she already did some really good episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, she did. She did I think the best episodes.
Yeah, and Bryce Dallas Howard did episodes too, and she and you know, Deborah Chow even mentioned her. She's like, yeah, she did too. She was directing as well. So it's not about we're gonna cut to the chase. It's not about women. It's about white women who are like Kathleen Kennedy and her friends. That's what it's about.
Yeah, pretty much. It does. This does feel more like a civil war.
Yeah, stop lying. Stop saying, oh, that people are against women. They aren't. No one had a real problem with Deborah Chow. No. Deborah Chow has a really good, you know, she's like, I just want to be a good director and tell good stories. Because that's what people want. Good stories. We got, you know, Leslye Headland already pushing that she's going to bring an agenda with it. Nobody effing wants this. Keep your agenda and stick it in your Russian doll. No one wants it.
Ooh. That's like one doll inside another doll inside another doll.
Right, I don't want to see your layers.
Don't want to see your
layers. Who else has layers? Ogres. Not saying there's a comparison, but you know.
Or orcs, and we're going to talk about that too. We're getting there. We're working our way through this this whole discussion here. Another woman who has actually proven herself, and is Patty Jenkins.
Yes.
Who did Wonder Woman. And again, this is another case of when Wonder Woman came out, I don't remember very many people talking about it being a female director. I just, you know,
but they were real quick to say that men hated it and men are tanking it, and that's not what happened.
I don't remember that happening either.
No, they said stuff like that about it, and then it ended up like, you know, taking off and being huge.
Yeah, I was apprehensive about Wonder Woman because I did not like the other DCEU movies. It had nothing to do with, you know, Wonder Woman. I mean, come on. I grew up watching Wonder Woman like you grew up watching Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman's been my favorite since I was a little girl. I wanted to be Wonder Woman. I had the underoos. I still have underoos for adults. And they're Wonder Woman, thanks to Mama Sparkles. I was all about it, even when you weren't. I was going to watch it no matter what because I have loved Wonder Woman since I was little.
Yeah, so this is what Patty Jenkins said about feminism. This was interesting. And Gal Gadot's another one who's a class act.
Mm-hmm. I love her. She doesn't treat anybody differently, you know, depending on who they are, if they're not female or otherwise. Neither one of them do.
Yeah, so this is what Patty Jenkins said. Although some critics have read Wonder Woman as a feminist manifesto, when our hero meets her love interest, Steve, she keeps her clothes on while he's naked. Jenkins didn't think about it on those terms. Not at all, she says. And that is the success of feminism. I've always wanted to be last wave feminism. When you're so feminist, you're not even thinking about it at all. When you're like, oh, of course a superhero is the greatest superhero of all time. Oh, she's a woman? I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, you know what? And here's the kicker. I was coming into it, and I've been the same thoughts as this. Until, like, I honestly would say about 2014 or so. This whole thing about, you know, feminism isn't enough has only been a recent thing.
Yeah.
Like it was, you know, I mean, there still was income inequality and some other things, but this whole idea that, you know, you have to think about this stuff, I never even gave it a second thought. I'm just like, oh, you know, that's funny. You know, oh, how the tables have tabled. You know, I wasn't even thinking about in a feminist way. I just thought it was funny. And I didn't think it was an anti-male at all. Not at all. That whole show, there's nothing about that movie that's anti-male that I can see.
No, I actually thought it was pretty balanced. I mean, even, you know, Steve wound up being a hero who saves a lot of people. They didn't make Steve a joke. Throughout the whole, they could have been like, he's just a guy who doesn't have any superpowers. They actually made sure he was, you know, represented.
Well, just the rest of the group that was with them, they all had, you know, they weren't perfect. They all had their issues.
Yeah.
But they were good characters, and you wanted to cheer for them. They happened to be male. It could have been the same for, you know, being a female. And she like kicked ass, but she did it in a way that was like, you know, she was human. It humanized her at the same time. And I don't think there was anything about it that was making her out to be some Mary Sue. I didn't get that vibe. Not like Ray.
No, they kind of, with Wonder Woman, and that was one thing I liked about how they handled it. I mean, granted, the Wonder Woman in that movie is different than the Justice League Wonder Woman because she's been around for so long. But that Wonder Woman was very naive because she'd been on the island her whole life. And, you know, but you compare it to, you know, you say about Ray. Ray's been stuck on this desert planet her whole life, but she's like, understands everything.
Yeah, knows how to fly the Falcon, even though she never did. And he does it better than Han and everything else.
Yeah, and actually part of the charm of Wonder Woman was the fact that you've got this obscenely powerful character who still in some ways has kind of the mind of a child.
She doesn't even know she's the weapon.
She does know she's the weapon. You know, compared to Captain Marvel, who's just strutting around the universe being like, I'm hot shit.
And she doesn't just, like, you know, take up the mantle because she just automatically knows what to do either. She, like, finds out, you know, about it because she gets upset watching everyone she cares about being attacked and killed or whatever around her, watching the village being, you know, gassed. And that's what leads her to actually, understand her power. But, you know, they never made her out like she just came out and knew exactly what to do and she's the bestest of the bestest because she's just Wonder Woman. You never got that.
No.
But we're going way around the point. The point is, Patty Jenkins is a woman, and she directed it, and she did a great job. And, you know, and it was never, and she's even like, I never thought about it as, you know, from a feminist perspective. I just wanted to tell a good story.
So this is sort of like the difference here, because looking at both Deborah Chow and Patty Jenkins, they have the chops, they have the skill, and they don't have to tell you how good they are.
They show you.
They show you, and that is any director, male or female, whatever gender, whatever color you are, show, don't tell.
And they aren't out there attacking fans.
Right, so now we've got this other generation of writers coming into things that feel like preemptively, before they even show you a damn thing, before you see anything really that they've done, they're telling you how awesome they're going to be. And if you don't agree...
Well, even before that, they're telling you, you know, that you're problematic. Everybody's problematic.
Everybody's problematic. Dana Schwartz, we're going to bring her up again because she's coming up again in relations to Lord of the Rings on Amazon, which I could not have less excitement for this show based on what I've heard. One, it's completely unnecessary, and two, it sounds like they're going to go full woke with this show. Like, it's not even, and they're already preemptively starting to case build, and a lot of people are thinking that the whole orcs is a racist thing.
Oh my god, that was stupid.
Is already starting to preemptively, you know, lay the groundwork.
Well, if they don't want to make money or have anybody watch it, I mean, I guess this is one way to go.
Yeah, so we talked about Dana Schwartz before. She is the writer. I don't think she's the showrunner, but she's one of the lead writers on She-Hulk for Disney Plus. She went on a tirade about South Park fans being awful, and then, but if you dig into her Twitter history, this is nothing new. She spends an obscene amount of time on Twitter slamming dudes. Like, that's what she does. I'm not trying to be
a jerk, but I've noticed that both Leslye Headland and this chick, every time you see a picture of them, they look very swarmy.
Yeah.
They always have this, like, you know, I'm better than you about them.
Now, who doesn't look that way? Deborah Chow. Look, she's serious. She's given direction. Patty Jenkins, you know, she doesn't look, she's just like, hey, we're on the set. We're all working here. We're working. But again, you look at, you know, the I'm gonna lecture you kind of face, and it's, I don't know if it's a generational thing or what the deal is, but you're right, you see the smirk.
Why don't they ever ask, you know, to talk to female Star Wars fans who have been longtime Star Wars fans that might be older, that have been around for the whole thing, and talk to them about what they think of everything? Notice they never do that. They always pick these chicks like these and then ask them what they think.
Because you just answered your own questions. They don't ask the longtime female Star Wars fans what they think, because it is going to go against the narrative, and you're gonna, you know, they're gonna be like, yeah, this Dana Schwartz, she's just not.
She said some really shitty things, but she also, it's like, posts pictures of herself, like, you know, in boudoir type photos, trying to get attention for herself. It's like, you know what, you know, I wouldn't even do something like that. I mean, it's like, just, you know, obviously somebody's very desperate for attention.
Well, yeah, I mean, then she went, so she had a very public debate about how awful South Park is, how South Park has made a generation of men awful. A cartoon show has made an entire generation of men.
Tumblr and Twitter have made an entire generation of women awful.
That is a very fair observation. I'm not going to subscribe to the post, but she came out and did an op-ed because she couldn't take the heat. She put out this hot take, double, triple, quadruple downed on it, and then she had to go run into the Washington Post.
Right, and they always let them do it. Like, okay, why can't we put an op-ed in the Washington Post about why they're full of shit?
It's not allowed. Washington Post, also owned by, this is interesting, owned by Jeff Bezos, Amazon, and Lord of the Rings coming to Amazon. I just want to put that connection out there, because again, you know, this is somebody whose career is kind of built on controversy, and now there's more potential controversy. This has been floating around Twitter. We had somebody, Free for All, tagged us in yesterday, coming from Candace Marie, that she's talking to the showrunner of the Lord of the Rings show.
I just want to point out that we do cite our sources when somebody finds something first. You know, even when other people don't cite us when we found things first.
That happens a lot.
Oh, it happened a lot recently on certain channels taking a lot of information that we had, including where we got it from, and deliberately stepping right over us and going right to the source and acting like they never heard it before. Anyway,
Dana Schwartz, she's, you know, here she goes, talking about She-Hulk. She's looking for a job, right? You know, why is she looking for a job if she's on She-Hulk?
Because she finished
room
it.
ended.
It finished it.
She-Hulk room ended. So if you have, wait, did she get fired?
No, they supposedly have the scripting done.
Oh God!
I know this because I covered Disney News and it was in the Disney News.
I need a job. Why do they do? Okay, why do they do this? Why, when these people run out of work, do they publicly go to Twitter and be like, "Oh my God, guys,
okay.
I need a job"?
No, it's the same reason why. Like, why do kids wait till their friends are right there and ask their parents if they can stay overnight or they can go somewhere? Because so that they can put you on the spot. They're hoping you're not going to say no because you'll look like a shithead. That's why they do it. Why else would she do it at them?
Yeah. So anyway. Cogman Brian, are your DMs open? I just followed you.
Hey, Cogman Brian, why don't you go hire other people out there that are good writers? If anybody else tags you in, are you going to give them a job on Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, right. So he is the writer-producer of Lord of the Rings on Prime, consulting producer.
They apparently don't care if they
Game
make
of
money.
Thrones, writer, producer, once and future actor, and he's also very good apparently at reading Harry Potter
in an Umbridge voice.
In an Umbridge voice.
Yeah, that's skill.
So anyway, people have already had concerns about this.
He's only got 741 followers.
Wait, really? Wow. You know, okay, I do want to put this out there, and this is one thing people don't understand. Some of the most powerful people in Hollywood actually don't have very much of a social media presence. I can actually think of some
They're out there shooting their mouth off all the time?
Right. I can actually think of, just off the top of my head, and I'm not going to name who, but I can think of some pretty powerful producers and business people that don't have much
Let me put a
following.
word of advice out to these powerful producers and business people. If you have somebody who's out there constantly shooting their damn mouth off on social media, you probably don't want to hire them.
Yeah. I would stay away from some of these loud people.
Mm-hmm. I don't care which side you're arguing for. I don't care if you're arguing for or against whatever. If you're out there constantly tweeting and being loudmouth, you probably aren't one that you should be hiring.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with Lord of the Rings. Yeah, some people said that they let the writers go. I just know that there's a lot of weirdness about the show. I haven't been following it because I don't give a shit. I love the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. I didn't care for The Hobbit. I thought it was completely unnecessary, although I did like Bilbo, you know. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm like, you took the thinnest book and turned it into a 3-movie.
Yeah, it was
trilogy with a bunch of fluff that wasn't even in the books. I mean, come on. So the original trilogy is one of my all-time favorite things. Infinitely rewatchable.
I'm just gonna have to go around and start following all the showrunners on these things, because if you follow them automatically and you have any kind of social media presence, that automatically means that you should be given a job working there. And I have both social media and YouTube presence, so I should be hired right off.
You should. Geeky,
I also have been a writer before, so you know.
Geeky should absolutely get any show she asks for.
That's right.
Because she's a woman.
That's right. Oh, but I'm not the right kind of woman.
No, you're ginger.
Well, yeah, that too. But you know, I also don't think that I should just be handed something because I'm a woman.
Yeah. So there, you know, we talked about this orcs racism bullshit, which is coming up, and Psychology Today is like, what the hell is going on with this?
Dr. Christopher Ferguson, I can tell you exactly what's going on with this load of garbage, is that the media and Hollywood are out there trying to push agendas, change things, and then preemptively, call anybody who doesn't agree with them some kind of bad name to try to bully them into submission so they can do whatever the hell they want and not be told that they're hot take shit.
That's what's going on. This is all a media thing. They're trying to, orcs are racist, and here Lord of the Rings star thinks Gandalf should be a woman.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. For headlines, for clickbait, I don't know. These are not the people we want working on this show. At all. Now that Christopher Tolkien has died, and Christopher Tolkien, was very protective of his dad's stuff, now it's going to be a free-for-all.
I know at first people were like, okay, Christopher Tolkien's around, that's probably not going to be too bad, we shouldn't worry about it. And then it just went, and after he passed away, then all this shit started coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
All of it. It started, I mean, Orc's racist, and, all, and it should be a woman. All this stuff came out after. And nothing else proves to you, at the heart of everything, what Hollywood is trying to do, this shit should. And then these celebrities get up there and tell everybody about how they're going to lecture them on consumerism. I say, fine. You know, they're right. Consumerism sucks. Don't watch this shit.
Yeah, we don't need to buy movies. We don't need to buy tie-in merchandise.
Right. Don't give them any money for it.
If you're worried about people being too materialistic, maybe you could sell your $14 million mansion and give some of that money to charity. I
mean, the very fact that some of these celebrities get paid what they get paid to literally pretend to be somebody else is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, really, at the end of it, it's just Hollywood is completely out of touch.
And up their own ass.
And up their own ass. And, you know, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see if there's any change in Hollywood, you know, after the shutdown.
And they wonder why people are turning more to YouTube and things like that for their entertainment. Because these people are real there, and they're not like, you know, so enamored with themselves and their own opinions that they are just so blind to the reality of the situation. Nor are they mostly people aren't out there saying that everything is misogyny and racism just because you have a valid point about why something sucks. Yeah.
So I think the new Goofus and Galen, or Goofus and Gallant,
or whatever it is gonna be
Deborah and Dana. So be a Deborah, not a Dana.
That's right. Yeah, you know, and here's the thing: white women need to step up their game. Yeah, they do. So maybe you should just move out of the way to let, you know, other women like you know, Deborah Chow step in and do her job, or give her as much media attention as you're giving Leslye Headland.
Yeah, she's not getting nearly enough media attention.
No, they're acting like Leslye Headland somehow invented strong female, you know, characters. She's inventing this whole pro-female Star Wars whatever, and that's a load of shit.
I can tell you what's probably happening. Leslye Headland is spending a lot of time with her PR team. Deborah Chow's actually busy doing work.
Right, there's a difference. Well, you know, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but you notice how the behavior changes with the ages?
Yes.
I mean, Patty Jenkins and Deborah Chow are older.
Yeah.
And they're just getting shit done, and they're like, you know, why is this an issue? I never thought about this issue. I just want to be good at what I do and tell good stories and, you know, do my job. And then you have these people, you know, like this Dana Schwartz and Leslye Headland, you know, on social media constantly, PR constantly, spin.
Yep. Because they think that's how you work. They actually, this generation thinks the more noise you make, the more opportunities you get. But if you can't close the deal, it doesn't matter how many fucking opportunities you get. If you can't close the deal, if you can't stick the landing, you're worthless.
Right, and people are just going to turn fans off because you're not about telling a good story. You're about telling a good agenda, and people are over it.
And you might get a second chance, maybe a third chance, but after a while, people aren't going to keep throwing good money after bad. They're not going to keep giving you jobs and giving you gigs because you got this big social media presence. If you're not bringing the boom, you're not selling stuff, you're not giving them a return on their investment.
And Hollywood, they're all learning a lesson right now. Disney is being humbled massively, and they're going to have to make cutbacks. And I think the days of just greenlighting anything and saying because I'm a woman is over.
Yep. Because there's a lot of women out there who are very, very talented and very, very hard-working people.
More Deborahs, less Danas.
More Deborahs, less Danas. So we're going to wrap that up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.